What's up, world? This is Christian T. Cherry. I study fine arts and have a passion in painting. I'd like to share with you a sense of my creativity today. When I first started to paint, I grew accustomed to the idea of labeling myself as an abstract expressionist. I try not to throw myself into a certain category or style as of yet. I'm still heavily influenced by my emotions, but I do think that there are many new and improved versions of art styles that have been progressing over hundreds of years. Typically, the number one comment that I get with my paintings and artwork in general is the representation of color. For me as a person, seeing color in a physical sense is somewhat difficult because I have a slight case of color blindness in a few select areas of the color wheel. But I make sure not to allow this to hold me back in any way. In fact, it could be one of my more unique points. I often receive the comment that, wow, this painting is just very colorful. Overall, the color that I add to my paintings is to make up for the loss of my own ability to see it. I have found nearly 4 artists that I tend to look up to in a sense of their work. One being Philip Guston, Wassily Kandinsky, Jean-Michel Basquiat, and Cy Twombly. They influence me by showing that there's similar people emotionally like myself that have some sort of miscommunication somewhere along the line between person to person, that these thoughts need to be placed on something that can stand the test of time, I suppose. The influence of these 4 artists that I mentioned, this gave me a sense that, okay, this is actually doable. I'm starting to understand this language of art and how these emotions can be communicated. I first sensed the overall feeling that painting gives me in 2013. Actually behind me, on the wall here, is my very first painting, and it started off by being a gift given to me because I started to express how I showed interest in art. So a family member purchased the kit for me, got all the things necessary, and it felt like an arts and crafts project at first. I really had no sense of direction or how to even create a figure on 2D to jump out at you and kind of get tied up in your mind. So the feeling of it, I don't think it can ever end, and that is what I find so intriguing about painting, is that when I am honestly in that zone and feeling that emotion bounce back with me on a canvas, it's just something that I can't really do elsewhere. That's the most freedom I have to get my mind traced. At first, I wasn't taught a whole lot on different techniques. I wasn't really even sure what kind of paints were out there, what materials I could paint on. So this is why I believe this could be the best time of my life, because I'm in my studies and I have a lot of opportunities to expand on my techniques. And who knows, down the line there could be some sort of technique that hasn't been necessarily labeled or perfected, and that's how I like to look at my career in art. In a natural environment, I don't feel like there are much restrictions on making art, meaning that in any given scenario with however many people, there's still a sense that I can create effectively and get across a piece of me by just doing it, really. It's been a process that's taken time to grow more accustomed to people being around you and actually having some sort of influence on what you are making. My current studio situation goes in two different routes. There's my studio cubicle at school in my studies, and then you have here. My plan is to expand into other fields of art, one being music. This started as very experimental and very unskilled sounds. The other field of art that I would like to expand into would be video. I was very, very intrigued by a camera in my middle school days. With the neighborhood friends, we'd gather and make videos. So I still feel like that was a part of me. Just combining all three of them by putting paintings in various places throughout a video and over music that I made, it's all starting to become more of a true capability and a possibility that these forms of art can be combined successfully. In a certain selection of my paintings, I have suggested forms, figures, and faces. What I want my viewer to walk away with is that they themselves have this uniqueness, creativity, all of these different characteristics that are so essential to this world that we have and our time spent here, that, you know, they can feel as though they are part of my painting. They're in it with me. My name is Christian Cherry with CTC Artwork, and I really want to thank all of you viewers for taking your time and getting a sense of what my art means to this world. Thank you. You can visit my website at ctcartwork.com.